Our first LinkedIn Live session for 2026. My name is Mike Newmeyer, and I am the CEO of Arketi. And I am super excited to be speaking today with a very knowledgeable colleague of mine, Charles Askew, who is our interactive director at Arketi, makes all the interactive magic happen behind the scenes. Welcome, Charles.
Welcome. Thank you.
Today, in this short burst, we're going to dive into a quickly emerging topic, which is really important. And it is, how are the large language models impacting how specifically B2B buyers are finding companies, organizations, and products? If you have half a pulse, you have been reading that overall organic search is down, and there's a huge increase in buyers, specifically B2B buyers, finding organizations they want to work with through AI. Which brings me to my first question. We've got SEO, we've got GEO, and now we have AEO. It sounds like alphabet soup. Charles, what's the difference?
Oh, usually the first letter, but you have to think
Nice.
of them as an evolution about how discovery works, where we started with SEO, and that optimizes your search engine rank for your pages. You know that with Google, it actually ranks the pages, and you just have a whole long list. GEO, or Generative Engine Optimization, optimizes so generative AI selects your brand as a trusted source when composing answers. So that's why it's so important. It's choosing the winners. AEO, which is a growing facet inside of GEO, stands for answer engine optimization, and it basically controls how the generative AI engines extract the content for direct answers. So looking at it as a simple frame is SEO gets you found, GEO gets you chosen, and AEO gets you quoted.
Okay, so I've spent years, decades maybe, making sure that we have a really great SEO score. So I'm all set for GEO, right?
You have a great starting point. So for SEO, we know it's been around for like 2 decades as a whole industry. GEO has come up within the last couple of weeks, so we're compressing decades into weeks of learning. But SEO is your great starting point, but it's not quite enough for GEO. Whereas SEO is a ranked list, GEO is selection process. Generative AI doesn't just rank pages, it chooses which sources it trusts to synthesize an answer. That means credibility, clarity, and consensus matter as much as technical operation. So you can win SEO, but still lose in GEO if AI decides your brand isn't as authoritative or as reliable on the topic.
Wow. So I'm sure all the mojo magic is behind the scenes coding and tweaking. Is that right?
A little bit. Technical work is really part of it, but GEO is a much broader subject. It touches everything from header structure to page organization to copywriting, leadership bias, how clearly your expertise is exposed, your earned media. In GEO, content and context are both king and queen, whereas in the past, we always said content is king. We have more to associate now. You're optimizing not just for algorithms, but for machine interpretation of your authority.
Wow. So it sounds like a full team effort. What exactly do I need to look for good GEO on my website?
There's really 5 things. There's a myriad of others, but the big 5 that you want to really tend to keep looking for, and these are the most practical things, is your page and content structure, how clear hierarchy and topic focus of the page is. This one is the code, is structured data and machine readable schema. And what that is code that goes on the page. It's almost like a digital business card or a digital too long didn't read section that lets AI pick it up. Summary forward content that AI can quickly interpret. So you may have heard this term before, too long didn't read. That's exactly what it's talking about, a summary. Another thing is your author credibility and expertise signals. If you have your leadership writing blog posts or your leadership writing insight articles, make sure to include their bios on there so it knows that this person is writing the article. It's just not a generic piece that's out there. And another thing AI loves to do is answer questions. So think about looking for answer hubs, content designed directly resolve questions, either in a small portion on the page or actually creating whole hubs like a FAQ hub. And together, all these make your site easier for AI to understand and trust.
Nice. So Charles, if a CMO and their team have just built their website, let's say a year ago, do they have to tear the whole thing down and start all over?
Yes, we'd love to build your website. But in most cases,
thank you, Charles.
Yes. In most cases, no. GEO readiness usually comes from a targeted improvement, adding the schema data, refining the headers, clarifying authorships, and restructuring key content. It's all about that content and ingestion for the AEO aspect. It's less about rebuilding a site and more about presenting your expertise in a way AI can evaluate confidently.
Nice. Okay, in a lot of articles out there, and there are so many articles out there about this topic, I keep seeing the word signals. What is that when you're talking GEO?
That is, the signals are any measurable indicator that helps AI judge whether you're a reliable source. So they can include a wide variety of things. Site performance. If your site's performing well, that means you can be trusted. Structured data, that schema data, expert attributions. So now we're moving out of the website. Your experts both internally and externally across earned media, consistency across content. So your message needs to be the same everywhere. You don't want a publication that basically changes your tagline. And one of the biggest things is research and earned media coverage. Those are the ones it already trusts the earned media outlet. So you are borrowing that trust and projecting it on yourself, as well as in turn projecting your authority back into that earned media outlet. So it's a web of interconnection from everything from how it's coded to how your company is represented on the internet. And anything really that demonstrates credibility and relevance becomes part of that trust calculation.
Well, as someone who graduated from the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications with a PR degree, I am thrilled to hear that earned media is making a comeback. And I have even seen reports that really say that a lot of the models favor really deep industry media placements over generic business placement because the authority on the subject matter. And I think that is really great for B2B clients that have a bread and butter PR subsistence living off of earned media and trade publications. Also, I think it's interesting. We've spent many years trying to make bios for executives tight and pithy and concise. And I believe what you're saying is bios with links to articles and research reports that they're quoted in and offsite information, kind of like an academic CV, is really rich in establishing those executives and subject matter experts as true subject matter experts.
Exactly. As if you make those bios, you can think of now as you can have your kind of quippy and fun bios, but also maybe have a page where it goes out that says this leader has been published in these publications. Here are all their blog articles. It basically builds more and more of that trust out there that your leaders know what you're talking about. So it's not just that internal blog post is just great for the leadership page. It needs to be something important and impactful.
Great. I've got a few more questions for you, and I will invite anyone that is listening live that wants to share a question, probably more so with Charles than with me, unless you're complimenting my jacket, in which case I will take it, in the chat. But Charles, is all you need to focus on do we only need to spend time focusing on our own website in terms of GEO, or do others outside matter to us?
That is really the key for GEO. It's not just your own site. Where SEO is more of a marketing and web team endeavor, GEO is the entire organization from the CEO all the way down to the brand team. And offsite, it matters enormously because your authority is networked. It's not just you. It's a network, a web of sources and trust validation articles. AI evaluates your brands across the entire information ecosystem. So as we said, media coverage, analyst mentions, citations, third-party validation all reinforce that trust network. Your reputation beyond your website often determines too whether AI considers you the authoritative source. And also, let's not forget video as well too. AI, the one thing AI loves is charts and videos. So if you have an article with a chart, or if you have an article with a video that it can ingest the content from, that even helps more.
Nice. So where does PR fit in this whole mix?
So PR becomes the central driver of visibility. PR turns marketing claims basically into AI trusted reality. Generative systems weigh really heavily on external validation, as we've talked about. Things like those media covers, those speaking, expert speaking, the speaking engagements too. Even awards and third-party features. AI trusts that earned media more than owned content because it signals a consensus that you are the source. PR is not just awareness now, it's a credibility infrastructure.
Wow, that is great. There's been, I remember just a few years ago, a drumbeat of articles talking about the death of PR, the death of earned media, definitely the death of the press release. And it sounds like there's a resurgence in all those areas to come back. But it's not just PR, and it's not just the web interactive team. Last question for you here is, what other departments are involved in making sure that an organization's web presence is fully optimized for GEO?
Yeah. As I said, it's a whole company-wide effort now. So while the web and marketing teams, they still matter, really important, but success now requires coordinations about PR teams, content, executive leadership, SMEs, brand leadership even. Everybody contributes signals that shape how AI perceives your organization. So if you had to really summarize the roles, marketing sort of leads the strategy, whereas PR leads the authority. The web teams and interactive teams lead the execution, whereas brand leads this whole coherence. So it's not really a channel anymore, it's a whole organizational capability.
Nice. And in many cases, it's down, like you said, down to the individual, and really establishing individuals as credible sources, which goes to a question we have from one of our participants today, which is, do you have a recommendation on generic company blogs that are not directly attributed to someone? We have many blog articles that don't have a specific author.
If you can't attribute it to someone, make a bio for your company that lists your executives and lists, so it has some kind of coherence in it. So you could say, I am company X, and with our SMEs are this, and this is what we are about. Basically make a bio for your company so it can help have that trust. And also, it's maybe not a person, but it's still the organization.
Mm-hmm. Would it be bad form to go back and put a person on those blog posts if you can't attribute a person to them?
If you can't attribute a person, go back and do them, because all it is doing is building those interlinks. All that authority is now being spread out where it wasn't before. So no bad form in doing that. If you can attribute it to an SME or executive or even a team member as well too, that is going to be key. It gives that extra push that says this was not just some random thing we put out. This was this person who works in this capacity's thoughts.
And when you republish that article, does that bubble it back up in terms of being seen by the large language models?
Yes, and one of our things what we do with the GEO assessment, we kind of talk about actually frequency of posting. And even if it was a 3-year-old blog post that actually had some good traffic on it, what can then be done is updated on, and it makes it look like, okay, we have a authoritative source and they are continuing to update that thinking. And all you did was just add the author. So it gives that extra oomph for it to go out and find something that is more recent because you had a more recent updated date.
So another question is, what is a really solid resource you can use to stay up to date on the latest GEO, AEO trends?
Ooh, a solid resource.
I mean,
One,
besides your LinkedIn profile.
yes. um, really, trade publications are going to be good, but one thing that you want to do to kind of stay up is ask the generative engines what they think about this, because it's going to be pulling in articles and resources, and help me find resources to get this information clearer. It sounds like it's like a circular logic, but you can actually use those tools to find the information, because it's always going there to find it. But it does work. And one thing you can also do while you're at it is think like your customer and say, I'm looking for widget XYZ, but I need to replace something. See, and try and tailor it to what people are asking for, to see what it's recommending. Because if you're not even showing up in the list, it's not, you need to maybe pick up your efforts on making sure you're the authority source.
Wow. So if you're a marketing executive or a communications executive and you're stepping into a new role tomorrow, what's the first change that you would recommend that professional do or look at when it comes to their website and visibility of their content in AI searches?
So basically, the thing you can do today, and once you get off the webinar here, is do a few things. Run a Lighthouse score on your website to see if there's anything outstanding. What Google Lighthouse is it's a tool that evaluates SEO, it evaluates best practices and performance. See if there's any big red flags there. For example, maybe your performance is really lagging behind somewhere, and that's going to drop you down as an authoritative trust source because your site's not performing well. You can do that, and that's a free thing you can do in about 5 minutes. Another thing you can do is make sure that your site's not being blocked by any of the AI tools. Because early on, people were afraid that they were just going to scrape and steal content, that they blocked the AI agents. So if you're being blocked, or someone before you came in and actually blocked those AI tools, it can't find you. You're invisible.
Yeah.
The thing you can do that's really good is you have to think like the customer and ask AI questions to see how it's answering them. What does it think about your company? Ask it what it thinks about your company, and it will tell you. And you can actually kind of massage that as well too. It's like, I'm looking for people that are specialized in banking, and I've heard this company is good. What do you think? And it will tell you what it has the data on.
Nice.
And those are you easily.
Yeah, and I had the privilege of presenting yesterday with Charles in front of a group of technology executives, and I told them I was going to steal this line, so this is my first chance to steal it. You also said during that presentation, think like Jeopardy. Everything in the form of a question. Be a Jeopardy contestant in your own organization's web adventures, and I think that's really smart, because that is how people are searching today.
Yeah, it's going to be, we're going into this thing called zero-click reality, where it is people get the answer and they never touch your site because they get the answer that they need.
Yeah, we've all done it. We've all experienced it. If you've done it as a consumer looking for a pair of shoes or information about a place you want to visit, you know you're doing it as a B2B technology buyer. To that end, I will say to our friends out there that are watching this, Charles and his team have created a really slick GEO, AEO readiness assessment. If you're curious how your organization is doing in this new landscape of large language models, feel free to drop me a message on LinkedIn and we'll connect with you, and we will be more than glad to spin up a GEO readiness analysis for you and walk you guys through it to share with you where you're exceeding, where you have some area of improvement, and where you really have some critical failures. This thing is changing moment by moment. It's going to be an exciting time. But it is a definite tool that marketers need to be aware of, and we need to make sure that it's not just resting in our interactive and development teams. There's a lot of strategy around it. So In closing, Charles, thank you very much. Thank you for your knowledge. We'll continue to watch your LinkedIn page. And it goes without saying, but I will say it. If Arketi Group can help you in any way, shape, or form, please reach out to us. We would love to help you. Thank you very much for spending a little time with us today on our first LinkedIn Live of 2026. Have a great rest of your day.